Okay, so can I proceed? Okay, so we reached the production level or level 3 of leadership, which talks about or focuses on the results, and as I said, creates like a significant impact on the organization. So this type of leadership or this level of leadership give useful advice, help people resolve conflicts, and motivate people. So since they have excellent relationships with all their employees, they can count on them to do an outstanding job. So leaders at this level can improve their skills by making their communication style more consistent and improving their like people skills as well, or the people they're working with. For production type of leadership, they do the following. They think about the best ways to make connections needed for employees to feel engaged and empowered. They think about the best ways to make connections needed for employees to feel engaged and empowered as well. So they listen and give directions. They welcome employees input on decisions. They adapt to new technologies or changes in the industry. They make sure that their employees have people that admire them for their personality and charisma, as well as their technical skills. So mainly production leaders can create high productivity team, department, or company. They have kind of more leadership skills than most other people, but they can learn even more by continuing to make an effort to improve. So this is a really great level of leadership. We go for the level 4 of leadership, which focused on the people development or people reproduction. So the development of people. So to gain a leadership position at a large organization, you should know how to help other people become leaders. So you are a leader definitely, but on this level, you will think of helping other people to become leaders as well. So people development in this stage or in this level, leaders invest their energy, time, and money in increasing the leadership skills of others. So individuals who move from production to people development in a successful way are consistent, honest, inclusive, and easy to talk to, hard workers who lead by example, skilled at communicating expectations for employees, in a very clear way. They are fair decision makers, and we have also to think about always being conscious when it comes to dealing with others. So mentors, they are mentors to many people or to many other employees. They are willing to recommend employees for promotions. They are eager to help former employees also to develop their careers. They're ready to talk to other people on their team about any issue. They are, or they should think about the future and consider the way teams across their company work together to achieve their goals. So mainly, these types of leadership or this type of leaders, they work on their interpersonal skills and communication skills to inspire others. That way, you can explain that your team's goals in a way that motivates your employees and gets them excited in your company's exactly. So Nasiba is saying that great leaders help their followers to make a way for themselves. Definitely, definitely, Nasiba. That's true. Now we come to the pinnacle or the summit or what we call the optimal or the ultimate type of leadership, which that John Maxwell talks about, which is the personhood, or what he called as well the pinnacle. When your followers follow you because they respect you, not because they fear you. So when it comes to the pinnacle or the personhood, this is the level 5 of leadership. Pinnacle leaders have become skilled enough to help others reach the people development stage, which is level number 4. They become outstanding leaders themselves. They improve reputations of the organization. They improve the to the organization. They increase the productivity and make almost any team or any department successful. They create environments that help everyone and contribute to their success. They have influence outside of their organization as well. They treat everyone fairly and with respect. They allow people to supervise and to make for themselves independent decisions. They surround themselves with smart, talented people who want to do their best. So mainly pinnacle leaders or personhood leaders, they often speak or conduct workshops about leadership. They also have employees who sincerely believe that they always prioritize their interests. They care for their employees. They care for the interests of their employees. So to become a pinnacle leader, you need to be a hard worker who leads by example. So of course, guys, the status quo is constantly changes or change for leaders. So this type of leaders, they need to be adaptive to stay at the pinnacle level. So even Robin Sharma, if you know Robin Sharma, who is like an author about leadership, he has so many books and great books on leadership. He says that leaders are like water. And Muhammad Ali also mentioned this. Leaders are like water. Water takes the shape of the container. So leaders should take the shape of any situation they get into. So they should be very, very, very flexible. And this is what they're talking here about. So pinnacle leaders, in order to stay at the pinnacle level or the personhood level, they should adjust quickly to shifting business needs, new personnel, market conditions, and many other demands. They're flexible. So they keep on evaluating people and teams to find out what training, software, or supplies they need to be successful and work on their on their community, on their employees, on the personal growth of themselves and the employees that they work with. So in order to achieve these five levels of leadership, you have to ask for and employ a constructive feedback. You should find your leadership style. You should accept leadership opportunities. You should find a mentor who can help you, and of course, develop leadership skills. And mainly, I would say learn and learn and learn. Okay, so that was for the levels of leadership. Now we go to the, not this one. Okay, so basically, there are many studies of leadership traits and characteristics. We start with Stockdale, who is a professor at a university and who also talks about leadership. He has many books about leadership. So Stockdale in 1948, he referred leadership as for intelligence, alertness, responsibility, initiative, persistence, so self-confidence. However, Stockdale also in 1974, after around 30 years, he added to what he mentioned or referred to leadership as achievement, cooperativeness, tolerance, influence. Mann also talked about intelligence, masculinity, adjustment, dominance, extroversion, conservatism. So notice, guys, throughout the years, they were adding on leadership because they were studying what leadership is about. So Kirkpatrick and Locke in 1991, they considered or referred leadership to be motivation, the drive, the integrity, cognitive ability, task knowledge. And in 2004, mainly very recently, Zaccaro, Kemp, and Beder started focusing not only on referring leadership as self-confidence or extroversion, they also focused on emotional intelligence, problem-solving skills, emotional stability, being able to control yourself. So, and this goes also to emotional intelligence. So, so the cognitive abilities, also they talked about being conscientiousness. So, and this is very interesting, and now we'll talk about it. So they started focusing more about how you can control your emotions, and this is part of leadership. So let's agree on major leadership traits. So there are so many, and notice that what Stockdale talked about, some others didn't talk about, but there are major leadership traits that we can learn. One, it is the intelligence, which is the verbal, perceptual, and reasoning capabilities. It is the self-confidence, certainty about one's competencies and the skills. It is the determination, the desire to get the job done, integrity. It is the quality of honesty and trustworthiness, and the sociability, leaders' inclination to seek out pleasant social relationships and being an extrovert. So, by the way, it was always referred that being an extrovert is related to also being a leader. So, so mainly the major leadership traits: intelligence, self-confidence, determination, integrity, and sociability. Samin, because you mentioned the power and leadership, and sometimes those in power abuse their leadership, and I told you that it is related so much to the personality factors. So let's go now and understand the personality, or the big 5 personality factors. So guys, there are 5 big personality factors. Number 1 is the neuroticism, the tendency to be depressed, anxious, insecure, vulnerable, and hostile. And now you can think of yourselves, like, am I in neuroticism, or I'm in neuroticism mode, for example, or I am in the extraversion mode, the tendency to be sociable, assertive, and have a positive energy, or I am into the openness mode, which is the 3rd personality factor, the tendency to be informed, open-minded, creative, insightful, and curious, or into the agreeableness mode, that person who always says yes to everything. He doesn't know how to say no. So this is the tendency to be accepting, conforming, trusting, and nurturing. So I think we all know that person who says yes on everything. That type of person, or that personality, is what we call the agreeableness. And finally, we have the conscientiousness, the tendency to be thorough, organized, controlled, dependable, and decisive. So these mainly 5 are the personality factors. By the way, when it comes to neuroticism, or that one who is always sad, very pessimist, depressed, anxious, if you know Franz Kafka, who is a novelist, if you know Fyodor Dostoevsky, um, if you know Van Gogh, or in the Dutch they say it like Van Gogh, who is a painter, they were very, very, very depressed people. They lived their life in darkness.
Side.
Yes.
And there is a whole history that he worked as a farmer, and then he fell in love with the daughter of his landlord, and then he got a few achievements because he felt so much. A few of the things, like I would say, sometimes I sing. So I would say that singing, painting, these are the things, or a person who is being smiling all the time. These are the 3 kind of people whom I think that they feel a lot, and whatsoever they feel, they when they're done with it, so they just want to express themselves, and they found a way in order to express themselves. And then he chose to paint his heart out. So he and many people used to call him that he's a psychopath or something, but because he was so depressed at that time, so he went to consult a psychiatrist also, and then so at the end he committed suicide. But we generally we have seen this, that we all say that that person is a psychopath or something because he is not acting like a normal person, but we don't want to see the history of that person, that what actually triggered him to attempt that suicide. We don't go to that point.
True. That's why, Samin, it's very important to seek like psychosocial support. It's very important whenever we feel really we're not fine, as you mentioned. It's very important to open up, and what you did is really great. Being like opening up about this fact that you can see it, and you know, whenever you are aware of the problem, you are halfway of, or you are halfway there. You are halfway of finding a solution to the problem. So yes, exactly. I totally agree with you and hear you. So so guys, now we'll have an activity. Please think of the neuroticism, extraversion, openness, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and I want you to relate them to leadership. So I want you to now we'll open also a Mentimeter. You'll have an activity to choose the right answer or the right order of these. So if you think a leader should be number one, openness, and it comes like, for example, number two, agreeableness, you should put them in order. They're already in order. You have to just choose the correct answer. So now, please, I want you to go again to www.menti.com and use the same code that you were using. But we go to the second slide. If you're facing any problem, please let me know. So I'll be sharing your answers on the screen. Yes, www.menti.com, and I'll write the code as well. The same code we used. So slide.
No, not yet.
Okay, I'm presenting it.
We are on the same link. Is that the same question, Nagham? What is leadership? Is it the same question or different?
No. Now I think it should work.
Okay.
I'm presenting, but the connection is slow, so I'm not sure if have you seen it now? Can you see it now? Choose the right order.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So guys, I want your answers, please. You have to just choose the right answer. Okay. My screen.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm seeing your answers. We have 6 and 7 who are talking about openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, the neuroticism. We have only one answer who is saying extraversion, conscientiousness, openness. Okay, so any other interventions? I think I did a great job in trying to confuse you. So do we have any other interventions? I can wait. So guys, I would really like to know who is the only one who consciousness, openness, neutralism, and then agreeableness. You can send on the chat box that you are who said that one. Because guys, that's the correct answer. So only one of you mentioned the correct answer, and I honestly the openness conscientiousness I did with that because they're so much related. So now we'll get to know why it's extraversion, conscientiousness is more related into leadership, or is the right order. So anyone who would love to share, or I would really like to know who is that one who answered correct. Seema, that's amazing. Great, Seema, bravo. Bravo, everyone. Actually, what you mentioned is not wrong, but sorry, guys, I tried to confuse you on purpose. Okay, so as we said, the correct answer, can you see my screen, right? I just want anyone to confirm viewing my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Perfect. Okay, so basically, guys, there is a strong relationship between personality traits and leadership. So number one is the extraversion, comes the extraversion or being an extrovert. So this factor is most strongly associated with leadership, okay, or the most important trait of effective leaders. What you wrote regarding openness or being open-minded is definitely important, but it comes in the third order. So the second one is the conscientiousness, is the second most related factor. The conscientiousness, when you are being or you have the tendency to be organized, controlled, determined, dependable, so decisive. So this is number two. Okay, number three is the next most related, which is openness, being open-minded, being creative, but it's very important, definitely. Of course, number four comes low neuroticism. We can't be leaders if we are at the stage of neuroticism, when we are depressed, anxious, insecure. So it's fine if we have it in a low level, okay, but it comes really number four, okay? So we have to have a very low neuroticism if we have it. And that type of leadership that I told you, that person, or it's not type of a leadership, basically, it's type of more of following. It's the agreeableness mode, that one who is always okay, yes, yes, yes on everything. So he can't give a critical feedback to others, or mainly a constructive feedback, because he looks always to please others. Okay, so this person can't be a leader. So do you have any question? Anyone who has any questions? Okay, so guys, let's go now for the leadership styles. We have three styles of leadership. We have the autocratic, we have the democratic, and we have the laissez-faire. So let's see the democratic type of leadership. Anyone knows this person in the picture? Okay, so this is Carlos Ghosn. Carlos Ghosn is the head of Toyota and Nissan car companies. He's a very, very, very successful person. So he is known that he has the democratic style of leadership. So this type of leadership is more, it involves the staff in the decision-making process. It keeps the staff informed. It shares responsibilities. He solicits input from subordinates. So this democratic type or style of leadership is commonly effective. So the leader makes decisions on the input of each team member. So he tried to engage his teams in decision making, or his team members in decision making. So although he makes, or he does the final call, but each employee has an equal say on a project's direction or in a project decision. So democratic leadership is one of the most effective leadership styles, because it allows low-level employees to exercise authority, which will allow them or to express themselves and feel heard. So, for example, in a company board meeting, a democratic leader might give the team few decision-related options, and they could then open a discussion about each option. So after a discussion, this leader might take the board's thoughts and feedback into consideration, or they might open the decision up to vote. So, so this type of leadership is really a good one, because it allows others to be involved, to feel heard.
Is it like a flat organization?
Sorry, it is like a flat organization?
Yep.
Yes, but mind you, Samin, that the final decision will stay for the leader, for the founder, for example. Okay, so but he makes like the team decisions and thoughts, and they feel heard, like he engaged them. And this is very important. We all feel like, or we all need to feel that we are heard, we are considered, our opinions matter. Okay, so this is when it comes to democratic. When it comes to the autocratic, if you know, of course, Steve Jobs has had the autocratic style of leadership. He makes decisions on her own, this type of leadership. He does not consult with the staff. It's a kind of top-down management. The staff obey orders only. He had like type of reward and punishment structure. So this type of leadership is rarely effective, although he is a great leader and he is a very successful man, but that this type of leadership is not effective. So it is the inverse mainly of democratic leadership. So in this leadership style, the leader makes decisions without taking the input from anyone who reports to them. Employees are neither considered nor consulted prior to the direction, and are expected to adhere to the decision at a time and a pace stipulated by the leader. So they're not allowed to give, or they don't have the space to give their insights or their opinions. So frankly, this leadership style, like, don't use it. Most organizations today can't sustain such a hegemonic culture without losing employees. Of course, whenever you feel like you are in such type of leadership or workplace, you don't feel appreciated and you can resign easily. So it's best to keep leadership more open and to the rest of the team, okay, and take into consideration the perspectives and the opinions of others. The third type of leadership or style of leadership is the laissez-faire, which is translated literally to let them do. Okay, so Google uses this type of this style of leadership. The leader provides a little direction and leaves the freedom to staff. They use mainly laissez-faire or let them do. This style of leadership delegate. So they use delegation. Okay, so all authority given to staff who determine their own goals and objectives and pursue them on their own. So this type of leadership is considered sometimes to be effective. So So for example, in a young startup, you might see a laissez-faire company or let them do company. So where founders makes no major office policies around work hours or deadlines, they might put full trust into their employees while they focus on the overall working on their or of running the company. So basically, they trust their employees. They think that this way will allow them to have their employees more creative, being more creative. So this type of leadership empower employees by trusting them to work, but also it can limit the development and overlook critical company growth opportunities. For example, if the employees weren't really like hard workers or weren't uh, trustworthy in the position they are, they can really like take the company to trouble. But I think Google is very selective when it comes to the employees that they choose. So this type of leadership should be kept in check. Okay, it's very good, but also it should always be kept in check because it might turn things upside down. So that's for the styles of leadership. There are many other styles, but I was choosing the main or the most important styles. So any question? But notice by the way, Google have time for employees to spend it, like they have slides in their company, and they like give the freedom for their employees to be creative and to enjoy working. So those who work at Google, they don't feel that they have a job. They just do what they love, and that's what makes Google a very, very successful company. So of course, we have to be mindful of the factors that influence the leadership style. The leader's personal background, very, very, very important. And Samin, you mentioned that as well. The team being led, of course, can affect the leadership style and the organization culture. So guys, we have a level of leadership that we all should seek to acquire, is the transformational leadership, or those true leaders like Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, they were transformational leaders. So this style of leadership or helps others to change and transform. So it is concerned with emotions, values, ethics, standards, and long-term goals. I just remember Martin Luther King, how he was able to influence the people around him, to influence everyone. His speech about "I have a dream" was really influential to everyone. It touched our emotions, our feelings. So he's one of the transformational leaders, as well Mahatma Gandhi and many others. So these leaders consider their followers' motives, satisfying their needs, treat them as full human beings. So they often incorporate charismatic and visionary leadership. So also successful leaders are very charismatic. Sometimes they might be not good people, kind of, or they might have a specific power, or we might disagree with them, but we can see that they're very charismatic, and that's why that's how they allow followers to follow them. They can work on their body language skills to be to be presentable and affect other people through their body language, their speeches, the way they influence the emotions, they trigger the emotions of others. So these are transformational leaders, definitely. Okay, so in order to be a transformational leader, you have to, or there are many factors that you have to consider. It is the charisma that I was talking about. Leaders who act as strong role models for followers. So followers identify with these leaders and want very much to emulate them. So leaders tend to have very high standards of moral and ethical conduct. These leaders are deeply respected and trusted by their followers. So leaders provide their followers with a vision and sense of mission. Okay. Also, the factor too is they inspire and motivate. So leaders tend to communicate high expectations to followers, inspire them through motivation to become committed and a part of a shared vision of the organization. Leaders use symbols, emotional appeals to focus group members' efforts to achieve more of the group or organization. We have intellectual stimulation. Leaders stimulate followers to be creative, innovative, to challenge their own beliefs and values as well as those of the leader and the organization. Leaders support followers and try new approaches and develop innovative ways of dealing with organizational issues. And we have factor 4, which is individualized consideration. Leaders provide a supportive climate in which they listen carefully to the individual needs of followers. Leaders tend to act as coaches and advisors and mentors while trying to assist followers in becoming fully actualized. That's mainly when it comes to being a transformational leader. You can affect and influence others. So, but we have to consider there are several like leadership myths. One of them is I can't lead if I'm not at the top. This is wrong. You don't have to be at the top in order to be able to lead. So leadership skills can be gained by anyone. When I get to the top, then I learn how to lead. Come in. This is as well wrong. When I'm at the top, I'll no longer be limited. This is also a myth. If I can't get to the top, then I'll not try to lead. So we have always to seek being leaders because it will affect how our life will go on, really, on so many levels. We don't have to be leaders in our just workplace. We have to be leaders in our lives. It will affect our decisions. It will affect everything in our life. It will affect our family, our kids, our children. Our children will also need to see that their parents are leaders as well in order to be inspired by the people they are. So I encourage everyone to keep on learning, to keep developing themselves, work on their self-development, to always or I can't say to reach the leadership level because I believe leadership is a journey. So we have to walk through it. I don't think that we can always we can always be leaders, but we can always also keep on maintaining this leadership because as we said already that things are changing, the status quo is changing. We have to be flexible, we have to keep on learning. If we are leaders and in an expert way, we have to keep on learning because someone will also be more expert. So we have always to be working on ourselves, developing ourselves. There is no day we can think, oh, I became a leader and I stop. No, leaders always keep on learning, keep on improving themselves. So it's very important really to keep on learning, to develop yourselves and be a source of inspiration to others. So I like a quote by John Quincy Adams that says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. So let's always focus on being able to empower others, to help them learn better, to do more and become more. Then we become leaders, definitely, through continuous journey of learning and self-development. I would say that the session ended. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something.